Good day, Michael Fallquist. Nice to have you with us here. Thank you for joining us for the rate communications for the month of April 2014.
Thanks for having me, as always, Meredith.
Great to have you with us. We are looking forward to what you have to share with us today here in our April communications, our rate communications and education piece. Mike, this has been an incredibly challenging quarter for our associates, for our customers, for the business. In all of your history, you've obviously been in the energy space for a long time. What do you have to say about what we've just gone through?
It's been, one of the toughest quarters that I've ever been around in retail energy. You've had really high rates, you've had artificially low utility rates in a lot of our, in a lot of the markets we serve, and it's been a tough quarter here. And absolutely, I know it's been a really tough quarter out in the field as well. But one of the things we talked about at Leadership Retreat is, the way this is such a cyclical market. And, times of challenge are followed by great prosperity. And, we know that's hard for our associates in the field to see and understand because they're not close to it like we are every day. But, there is very good times ahead for all of us.
I think what's really amazing about this quarter is watching the associates step up and watching them just, become undaunted and driving their businesses forward. And, there is a great cause for celebration this quarter, wouldn't you say?
What we've faced over the period. We've had, as I just said, all the challenges we've had. I am so proud of everybody to announce that we reached both goals in the $5 million challenge. We delivered 5,000 associates, more than 5,000 associates, and more than 50,000 customers.
It's absolutely astonishing.
Records for both in one of the hardest periods where our rates were higher, utility rates were artificially low. I mean, this team, our field force, I've never been so proud of what Viridian accomplished is seeing them get the first $1 million of the $5 million challenge. It's absolutely phenomenal to me. And I'm never a person that really can celebrate on camera great, but I will tell you I'm so proud of this group.
As we talk now about April, so let's shift gears. This is the beginning of Q2. There are trends that are swinging upward. Let's talk about what does Michael Fallquist see for this month and beyond.
I think what we've seen across the board is just, as we've talked about, just continued upward pressure from a wholesale market condition. Right, wholesale rates have just continued to go up. And I've got a couple data points, which I think is very interesting. I know one of the things I've been surprised as I've interacted with our supply desk as we've gone through April pricing is that April prices, traditionally a shoulder month for electric use, normally a real significant step down over what you have in more of the peak months. But April prices have continued to be high. And so I did some digging in, and I think it will be helpful for the field to get your head around this. But from a commodity perspective, as we're looking at April delivery, so natural gas, in 2012, natural gas per MMBTU, which is the measurement for gas, was $2.20 for natural gas based on the NYMEX curve. In April of this year, natural gas printed at $4.58. 108% increase over that 2-year period, comparing April contract to April contract. From an electric perspective, ISO New England, April electricity in 2012, $25.41 per megawatt hour, or about 2.5 cents per kilowatt hour, just for energy. In April 2014, for the products we're seeing for the rest of April, $71.53 per megawatt hour. 7.1 cents, almost triple what we faced at that time. And so, when you talk about this, I think there's a couple takeaways for the field. Think long term, right? Don't always focus on selling your customers savings today versus the utility, because think if you had locked your customer back in at $2.20. Think if you had taken a 2-year view on that product. You would have saved your customer a lot of money. Worst case scenario, that customer would have gotten price certainty and green energy. But you could have saved them a lot of money. So when I look at these curves, the leading indicator it tells me is we really have to think, unless your customers want a variable product and want to be subject to market risks, which is what we faced in the first quarter, think long-term, think stability. Because where we're looking at it, right now rates are just continuing to go up. The forward curve's going up. And the great thing, back to where we started, the utility lags the market. So everything we faced, it's ultimately going to get priced in. Even if in the near term, you have some utilities that sort of take steps backwards, it's because they've bought over a long period of time. But ultimately, this period of time will impact the price that consumers pay. And that gives us an advantage. So if you're looking at an upward trending curve, lock your customers in. Take advantage of it. There's some great prices we have out in the market right now.
Those are pretty impressive, really impressive increases. And I think that it really just goes to validate what you've been saying all along, what you talked about since Leadership Retreat in January, that we were going to see an upward swing in the utility rates. And we are seeing that. We are, however, seeing a couple of anomalies. We're seeing a couple of utilities that are actually trending down. And that has raised some questions among the associates, wondering, what does that mean? How does that happen? And how would you respond to questions that they get with their constituents out there in the field who are asking them why we're seeing a reverse trend in a couple of pockets?
That's the reason we don't predict utility rates. We predict trends. And we believe the vast majority of the time, the trend is going to be reflected in the utility rate. But there are certain factors, certain things happening that, whether when they bought that particular tranche of supply, maybe there's other charges that they're factoring into the rate. We don't know. So while there may be near-term step-downs that are inconsistent with the trend, ultimately that trend is going to be reflected in utility pricing. So if you're in one of those utility markets and you have a backward step, probably what that means is a year from now and 2 from now, you're going to have an oversized benefit because ultimately they've got to pass that through to the customer. That's the way it's set up. They're in the business of passing through that price to the customer.
Well, now, this month, Michael, we're seeing a new product that we haven't seen before, a 3-month fixed. What was the mentality and the mindset behind launching such a short-term product for customers in certain markets? This
month we introduced the 3-month fixed product in addition to sort of our 6, 9, 12, 24 products, which we have depending on the market and really the opportunity in that market. And the 3-month product was really, the genesis of that was really taking advantage of sort of near-term opportunity in markets where the utility rate hasn't reset. So take, for example, a ComEd, which is a rate of about 5.5 cents. The wholesale markets are materially higher than that for product. And so, ultimately we think in June that ComEd rate is going up. So in markets like that where there was that opportunity, we tried to structure, and it's not in all the markets reset in June, but in certain markets we tried to structure a 3-month product that made a lot of sense, that you could continue to sell, and ultimately when that reset came through, the rates would be higher from a utility perspective. So it was just really trying to maximize the balance of giving the field what makes a lot of sense while also getting us to the point where we're going to know what the utility's ultimate rate's going to be.
Well, I think that what we see this month in April, too, is we do have 2 or 3 territories that are extremely exciting. And some associates might say, wow, I wish I lived there. But I think it really lends to the importance of building a diversified book in your customer base. What's hot this month, Mike?
I'm going to start with ICE in New England. Connecticut rates are a great value right now. The 6-month product is 7.89 cents versus a utility rate that's 9 and 9.2 for the 2 utilities in Connecticut, so that's a phenomenal rate. Massachusetts, we have a great value in National Grid right now. We're selling a product that is 8.99 cents per kilowatt hour for a 6-month product versus a utility rate of over 10. What's also exciting in Massachusetts, obviously, I'm sure it's been spread, but the DPU ordered implementation of POR. So that ultimately means down the road as it's implemented, no credit checks or credit checks taken away. So that's just, not only are the rates exciting, but if I was an associate in that market or as marketing in that market, that's just great for you. As for other utility territories, I think switching to New York, New York continues to be a market overall where volatility was passed through to customers. So as we think about electric rates, you still have very high rates. The one I'd like to highlight on is Central Hudson. That team's doing a great job there. You have a rate of, from a utility perspective, 13.92 cents versus a 12-month product at 9.99 cents. So show your customer the volatility they've experienced. Get them onto a fixed product. Get them certainty. Phenomenal opportunity. Obviously, we see opportunity across the entire state, which is why we extended the money for meters for another month in that territory. We think New York is a great growth opportunity for the near term. Switching to PJM, the rates I'd highlight is Ameren. Ameren's a great example where we took the 3-month rate and made a really competitive 3-month rate. We've got a great team building out there. We want to support them. 3.99 cents versus a utility rate of almost 5. Great opportunity in that market. And the last rate, which is the Pepco DC rate. DC has been a really interesting market and growing fast since it's added POR, which was a few months back. It's a market where we've actually know the June rate, and the June rate is actually stepping down. That's one of those examples of a utility rate stepping down, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But we've done is we've priced our 6-month rate below the 6-month rate, or below the rate that's coming in June. So we've lowered our 6-month rate to 8.199 cents, which is below the rate coming in June. But if you sign your customers up soon, they're going to get flow against the 9.6 cent rate. So tremendous opportunity in that market as well.
Well, Mike, thanks for sharing those tips, because that is really going to help people who are running for Aruba. A great travel trip coming up. I know that you and your lovely wife, Kelly, already have your tickets and are ready to go and spend some time. And, just kind of reflecting on incentive trips in the past, what is it that you really enjoy about them the most?
I remember distinctly the very first trip we did in Turks and Caicos. So many of those associates are still, personal friends, because there was 30 of us on the beach spending time together, talking about the business, what we wanted to do. You create a bond, and it is a great byproduct of the network marketing industry that you get to see the world and just do fun stuff.
Well, Mike, I just want to thank you for being with us today, and Happy Earth Month to you. This is really a celebrated opportunity for us to get out there, to get dirty with the associates, but really celebrate who we are at Viridian, to really just step out and remember, our soul, our core, what drives us, what sets us apart in the market, in the minds of people, what makes us special. So we look forward to seeing you at an event very, very soon.
It's our Hallmark month. It's a great month. I just encourage people to get involved, because when you connect on just a deeper level with the company and you have a chance to get, it's that concept of shared passion. You interact with other Viridian associates who are passionate about the environment. It just changes your perspective, and it will make you so much more passionate about what you do, because this company is so much bigger than making money.
Thank you again for joining us.
Thanks, Meredith. Have a great day.